Good people on the quest for good content. What is good? Got the pick and roll offense today. We got LeBron and whoever the fuck I am on the Heat. Welcome to another installment of Song of the Week. I'm one of your two hosts for this segment, Bill Farrow, here with the master of the channel, LeBron himself, Jordan Bell. Jordan, what up, dog? Talk to me.
What up, dog? If we're gonna call me LeBron, then we either have to be the Heatles, like we have to be the big three Heatles, or we have to be what makes more sense, the big three Heatles or the Cleveland Cavaliers, Kevin Love, Kyrie, LeBron James?
Well,
Like, does Dave
David
just
is
automatically?
white.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is it just easier to make David Kevin Love?
David is white. We'll have to run it by him next time we're on the channel. I hate to play the race card, but if I can't be Pat Riley and just not play but still get all the accolades, then it probably makes sense for me to be Kyrie since I'm all over the place.
I was about to say, personality wise, Kyrie's not a bad fit for you. This you wouldn't say some of the stuff Kyrie has said, but I'm speaking more of like this kind of nomadic free thinker breaking free of the system aligns with you as it does Kyrie. David, outside of just being white, I don't I don't know how well he aligns with Kevin Love. But
I think they're both from California, right? So
they
that works.
Yep, they're both. I think K Love might be from Oregon.
Shit.
They're both from the West Coast. They're both West Coast.
Yep, that makes sense. They are both married.
They're both married. Yeah, they're both married. That's
That's
they're both
about
married.
all we got.
Yeah. So Dave, K Love, from now on, congratulations.
That makes sense.
You know what
That's
I mean?
fair.
It makes
And
sense.
if we are the Heatles, as a fair trade-off, he can be Dwayne Wade since y'all were linked up before, and I can be Chris Bosh or Mario Chalmers.
Well, you make more sense as
Cole.
Bosh just because of like stature. Like you just have more, like, you know what I mean? Like you have more of a Chris Bosh body than either one of us. Not that my body resembles LeBron in any way.
It does, ladies. It does, actually. Seen it. He's got Chosen One tatted on his back as well.
That's right. Amen. Speaking of sports, man, I've been watching a lot of sports lately. This is like a good time of year. So the World Series just ended the other day. And then we're like right in the middle and right in the swing of things with football. Unfortunately for my Browns, ugly season. Not looking good for us. Yeah, thank God. I'm going to LA so I'm going to LA tomorrow, and I'm gonna miss the Browns Jets game. I think I'll live. I
think nobody should go to that game.
Yeah, no one should watch that game. Exactly. And then basketball's in the swing of things. So I'm enjoying the sports calendar this time of year.
Yeah, man. For some reason, my Bulls are good. I'm happy to see the Bears improving. Baseball's cool. Shout out to Japan for being the best baseball nation on the planet.
Real talk.
Like, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool time. Nice distraction from all the chaos that's going on outside, but
Exactly. Bro, speaking of sports, so you were a baseball player for the majority of your early life, right?
Yeah, man. 13 years. Started at 9.
Played all the way through college, right?
I did.
Played all the way through college.
Well, when I wasn't injured, but
When you played baseball, like, what was your pregame music? What did you listen to? Like, were you a get hyped before the game guy? Were you a mellow out before the game guy? What did you listen to on game day?
Just by nature, I'm more mellow, right?
Yeah.
So I always listen to things on shuffle, but then like if we were at an away game, 15 minutes, I had like a 15-minute timer before we arrived, and I'd do my 15-minute run of songs. And the last song was always, the build-up kind of fluctuated. It could have been Spodio de Dopalicious. It could have been something that was a little bit more chill. But my last song, without a doubt, for baseball, always from basically like 13 years old all the way through, was Doing It to Death by James Brown, 5-minute song. And the first words of the song are him queuing up the band and him going, hit it. And so it just made sense. And the reason why that song came to be is when I went to a showcase when I was a little bit younger. That was the last song that played, and I was like the youngest kid at the showcase, but I did really well, and I got on some college guys' radars, and I just kind of did what I had to do. I probably played a little bit above my caliber, but I usually rise up to the production or I rise up to the competition, or at least that was a little bit of a trait I thought I had. So Doing It to Death by James Brown was my always, always, always last song I would listen to before hopping off the bus or going out to the field or, just not listening to music until the game was over. And then for basketball, because I played basketball in high school amongst some other sports, Casey and the Sunshine Band, Boogie Shoes. That was my pregame
Interesting.
song.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
So I wanted to mellow out before a game. So I played 1 year of football in high school, terrible
Okay.
at it. I played 4 years of basketball in high school, also not the best. But I always wanted to I think I wanted to get rid of the jitters. Like I wanted to go into a game feeling calm as opposed to feeling hyper. And so I know there was probably 2 years, probably like my sophomore and junior year, where I would listen to The Cool, just the entire Lupe Fiasco album.
Wow.
I would just listen to that on loop before games.
Wow.
Yeah, wow, right? Like a great album. Back when I was a huge Lupe guy, I was more of The Cool guy than I was Food and Liquor. The Cool was the album that I really connected with. I remember really liking Go Go Gadget Flow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not even mellow out. That's very
Yeah,
interesting that's
true,
the standout for
true.
you.
Yeah, that wasn't necessarily like my game day song, but I remember liking that song. Was it High Definition, the song with Snoop Dogg and
Yeah,
Pooh
with
Bear?
Snoop.
Yep, that was one that I really liked. And then like probably the song that I would listen to a lot before taking my headphones off and getting ready for pregame or whatever was just The Cool. Like that was one that I really connected with. And then I don't remember what year this was for me, but I didn't like the movie Idlewild, but I loved the song Chronomentrophobia. And
Mm.
that song is not a sports song by any means, but it was a song like something about that song calmed me down. And I think it was just the beginning, right? The kind of metronome at the beginning of that song, and then Andre kind of leading you into it by giving you the definition of chronomentrophobia before the song, and then the smooth singing that he kind of eases in. It's really just like an interlude, right? Like it's not a true, three verses and a hook song. But Chronomentrophobia was a song that I listened to a lot on game days.
That's a cool mix. The Cool, man. As you know, Lupe is one of the 2 reasons I started writing.
For sure.
So that's always going to make me smile. That album is so dark tonally, but my song off that album was the coolest. Like I love the law, but sometimes it's like that. I love me more. I love the peace and I love the war. Like I love the season. I love the shore. No love with no beach. Baby, that's law. Like that's like, oh man. And I'm not going to do it all here. We got to get into the actual tunies, but damn. Do you think that's a classic album? I don't know if it is, but it's pivotal for me.
Yeah, is it a classic? If we were doing Hit Cycle right now, I would probably give Lupe Food and Liquor and The Cool as 2 classic albums. I think I would. Like you said, like pivotal. So yeah, it was a pivotal album for me too. I think again, like I didn't get into Food and Liquor as much until college. So like one of the things that David and I first bonded on as freshmen was Lupe Fiasco. David's a huge Lupe guy. I'm surprised he hasn't brought Lupe up more on the podcast. But David loved Food and Liquor, and I grew to love Food and Liquor more just like through my friendship with him. But The Cool was the one for me that really hooked me on Lupe. So yeah, I think if we were to be doing Hit Cycle right now, I would probably call the Cool a classic.
I can't be mad at that. I think I would say his classics are in his mixtapes. Fahrenheit 115, Revenge of the Nerds, which I know is kind of cheating, but in the first ever Hit Cycle episode that we did that is now archived and off the internet, that's what I did. I said, oh yeah, Food and Liquor is definitely one. And then he's got like 2 or 3 tapes that I think are just like he was like the first internet darling almost from a hip hop space. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was he was a conscious rapper in a way that we hadn't seen yet. Like he's obviously kind of a precursor to not Kanye, Kendrick.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I don't think Kendrick exists without Lupe.
I'd say that's fair.
You know what I mean? Like I think there's so many similarities between the two. At least for me, like he was the first rapper that I listened to that even to this day, you go back and listen to the songs and you pick up different nuances from the bars. Jay was like that too, but I think Lupe just took it to a totally different level.
Yeah, he took it way left. And way left is not a bad thing, but you know,
Yeah,
he's from the J tree, right?
absolutely.
And like that is one of Jay's proteges originally, right? That's ultimately why Lupe went to Atlantic Record, because Jay was supposed to become president over there, and really kind of help him in the later phases of the career. But man, that dude is an 80 lyricist. For those of you who don't know the numbers we're talking about, 80 is as high as you can go on the scale.
Yes.
That dude is, you could put
He's
up
an
the
80.
number
He's an
80,
85.
like, and he is like the short list of greatest lyricists of all time
Yeah.
for me personally.
I think in general, yeah, if we were to make a short list, him and Kendrick would probably be the first two names that I would name, kind of like
Interesting.
get those two guys out of the way, and then we can start thinking about other guys.
Wow, interesting.
Who else would you have up there? I think Nas would be up there for me.
For sure, you got the usual suspects. The thing about
Yeah,
lyricism is it goes in so many different ways. There are
sure.
a lot of people who say little in a lot and a lot in a little, right? So it's like
Yeah.
Biggie's probably an 80, right?
Yeah.
Eminem, just for like the pure
Yep. Of course.
verbosity, if that's a word. MF Doom, just for that same quality, but in a different fashion. Some people might say Wayne should be the first 80 you think of, you know, with his wordplay and punchline rap. I think you got to take the totality of an entire career in, not just at them at their peak, right? So I think he's dwindled a little bit, but he's still obviously one of the all-timers. If somebody says Wayne is the greatest rapper of all time, I'd go, yeah, I mean, I
There's
don't
an argument.
disagree. Yeah, like I don't disagree.
He,
Uh,
he I
if
don't know if he's the greatest rapper of all time, but he was the greatest rapper alive. Like when he said he was the greatest rapper alive, he was. And we talked about this maybe on episode 1. I think we said it was like a 7 or 8 year stretch where he was the greatest rapper alive unabashedly.
yeah, it was mixtape Wayne, right? It was probably a little bit shorter than that. I think a lot of the popularity continued to carry him, but there was like that 4-year period. It was like him and Ice Cube, right? And what I mean by that is there was like a 5-year period where everything Ice Cube said was amazing. You know what I mean? That's what my friend Shaw described it as when he was growing up. Wayne had a similar thing, like mixtape Wayne we call it mixtape Wayne because that's a thing, you know? It's like, it's not even an alter ego. It's just, you kind of hope he doesn't pick your beat because he's going to rap better than you on it. And he's
Yep.
going to chart with it,
Yep.
which is fucked up.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You know, you think you're going to make it out. You think you're going to get a big break. And 2 weeks later, Wayne has already freestyled 67 bars and 17 quotables that now permeate culture.
Were you always a Wayne dude, or did he like grow on you?
Nah, he grew on me. He grew
Okay.
on me.
You and David are similar in that sense.
Yeah, man. I don't think it was a disrespect thing. Like, oh, he's this. I just think I was into a different style of rap. You know what I mean?
There was and I can't remember which Drought mixtape it was, but there was a Drought mixtape. I used to have this little flip phone that was like an MP3 player, and I could download music onto it. And I basically had like the Drought 2 and like maybe 1 or 2 other songs on this phone. And so I would listen to the Drought 2 every morning on my way to school. And I did that for an entire year one year. And I loved Wayne. I was always a huge Wayne guy. But I remember having like very heated debates with David freshman year about how great Wayne was, and David wasn't into him at first, and he had to grow into it.
Yeah, it's that rap quote unquote purist thing.
Exactly.
Right? I think we both probably had a little bit of that. But there's what I will say is there's not a lot of 80s in any category, but there's more than I think we think. Just like I think about classic albums, there's more classic albums than I think we want to admit, but there's still like not a lot of classics, which is why, you know, I casually say like super classic. There's classics amongst the classics. You know, there's Hall of Famers amongst the Hall of Famers. You know what I mean? So yeah,
the classic
cool,
album,
man.
Yeah, the classic album debate is a fun one. We did 2 Chainz for Hit Cycle, and on TikTok, people have been giving David a lot of shit for saying that 2 Chainz doesn't have a classic album.
Kevin Love, man. Kevin Love.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin Love. I had to delete 1 or 2 comments of like, and you know, this dude's an imposter type shit. But
those people.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
A couple people commented the Dr. Umar like pictures of Dr. Umar. Those I left up, but there was a couple people that said some shit about Dave that was shitty that I took down. But the Dr. Umar stuff I found funny.
Wait, so what do I what classic does he have? What did you say he had?
I
Because I'm
so
pretty sure True Life or based on a
so
true story is like a classic tape. I'm pretty
yeah,
sure
so
that's a classic.
so
But keep going.
I said based on a true story. I said pretty girls like trap or love trap music or love or like whatever. And then I said one more. Let me pull it back up because I can't remember. I said, and like this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I said So Help Me God. I really like that album.
Oh,
Yeah. So I
there's
gave
some
him
cool
3.
instrumentals on that one.
Yeah, I like that album a lot. And then
Threat
Dave,
to Society is like a perfect instrumental. But sorry to
and
interrupt.
then, no, you're good. And then I love Moneymaker with Lil Wayne on there too.
Mm.
So, but yeah, Dave gave him 0, and there's been a lot of shit on TikTok for it, which I
Hey,
love.
credit to Dave and love to Dave though, because he knows that he's walking into an uphill battle as a
Yep.
suburban white kid who's like pretty, like all things considered, like very, very well versed in hip hop and like lyricism and things like that. But hey, man, he's Eminem stepping into battle rap. Who's this white boy? You know what I mean?
For
Like,
sure.
and I'm a light skinned kid from the suburbs and all that woo woo, but I don't necessarily have to justify myself based on the eye test immediately. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Nah, for
love
sure.
to Dave and props to Dave for being fearless enough to be a white guy talking about hip hop on the internet, man. It's not easy to do, I
That's
imagine.
right. That's right. Uh, we'll see what people say about our next hit cycle coming soon. But yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's a
anyway,
good one.
yeah, it's gonna be a good one. Anyway, let's get into some songs of the week.
Yeah,
You want to go ahead and go first?
sure. Now, here on the channel, we try to show love and help build any momentum that this small little corner of the internet can for up and coming and newer artists. This song came out, I think, like a month ago. It's been on spin for me for a little bit, but it's a collaboration between, I believe the producer's name is Ginny or Genie, Gny, all lowercase, and the singer on the track is Joseph Gregory. The song is called Watch Your Step. It is a soul pop, conjunction of like soul and pop, That's what I meant to say. And it's really buttery. Joseph Gregory is singing the fucking shit out of this, like really effortlessly bouncing between his falsetto and kind of the mid range of his singing voice. The beat has some really cool, kind of plucky bass. And I think actually my favorite part about this are like the very woozy, almost like seasick ad libs that help fill in some of the empty gaps, especially in the hook overall. I just think it's a great track. It's so well executed. It's simple, it's derivative, and it's, when I say that, I mean it's very much rooted in the tradition of like soul and pop and follows all those traditional foundational fundamental elements. And I hope y'all give it a spin because, hey, these guys seem to be small, but they're up and coming, I hope, because I'd love to hear more music like this, especially as soul gets a little bit of a resurgence, especially in the mainstream. So yeah, watch your step. Genie or Ginny, pardon me. We haven't met yet, so pardon me for getting your name wrong if I did. And Joseph Gregory. Pretty cool soul track, man, or soul funk pop track.
Okay. I love it, man. I love one of the things I like about doing this is when I'm editing all the clips, going to the songs that I haven't heard before and then like kind of listening through them and being like, all right, this is a good pick right here. Like I can get with this. David had a song by Dead Mouse that I had never heard before last time. That was good. So that's the one that you just picked is one that I'm not familiar with. So I'm looking forward to listening to that.
Please do. And for listeners out there, obviously, please do, because our suggestions are hopefully being received, but also go check them out on socials and stuff. I'm pretty sure they're individual or split accounts, but every small creator, again, I don't know how many followers they have, but I'm assuming they're a little bit on the smaller side. Every small creator needs a little bit of support. So if you like them, might as well support them because it's free to do.
That's right. Amen to that. All right. Well, so for me, I've kind of went back to the Chance the Rapper album, Starside, or I'm sorry, Starline, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just kind of been in my head the last week or so. And so I've just been kind of like trying to reflect on the album in general and like what I like about it. And my song of the week is going to be Chance the Rapper Starside Intro. And the reason being is, to me, this is like Chance's resurrection, you know? Like he needed this. He needed this album for his career. It was obviously like highly anticipated coming off of a major flop, and he delivers with the intro in a major way that's really, really fun. It's just a good song. Like I love the instrumentals. I love the like we've talked about Chance a couple times on this podcast. I love Chance's ability to kind of just like throw in different sounds and noises throughout a track that are really cool. I think he does that, at least for rappers that I listen to. He's the best at it. Just like being unique on a track and giving you a different sound, and there's like a feeling when Chance is at his best that's really cool. And so this is just a really good song for me. And I'm at a point, like, I think we all go through points in our life where, like, even sometimes on a daily, where, like, we have these ups and downs. I think we all try to stay as even keel as possible, but we're human. And so this is like a great bounce back song, right? Like when you need just like a little bit of kick in the ass, whether it be at the gym, whether it be at work, whether it be with whatever the hell else you have going on in your life. Like every once in a while, you need that little boost. And this song gives me that little boost to kind of keep going and feel like I've been resurrected as it did for Chance in this album and his career. Um, as I was like thinking about my song of the week, I was wondering, you're a better hip hop historian than I am. What other artists faced this moment in their career where they needed to deliver as big as Chance needed to deliver on this album?
See, the thing about hip hop, or I guess music in the modern landscape, is because it's a commodity, more so from a business lens than an art form. People fizzle out faster if they don't do it right on the second one. So
Yeah,
actually, Chance is very, very much a rarity. He's not the only one to ever do it. I'm cycling through and seeing if anybody comes. I mean, we talked about him a little bit earlier, and this wasn't necessarily second or third project, but like Lupe after Lasers, there was some question marks
sure.
and that wasn't because of his ability, it was because of his label situation.
Yeah.
So, like, again, Chance is a little bit unique because he was definitely the exception to the rule in terms of how he got popular, the pace at which he got popular, the way he was so thoroughly ingrained in so many different aspects of culture. I actually don't know if we've ever seen like a comeback story in hip hop quite like him.
I don't think we have
There are
either.
definitely comeback stories, right? But I don't know if it's like quite in the same vein because, you know, hopefully this isn't controversial. Chance, if you see this, no harm, no foul. Like some of that stuff with the big day seemed a little bit self-inflicted based on the rumors that you heard, right? Like kind of booking studio time and maybe not having the most focused sessions and things like that, right? A little bit of friction forming with the manager unless relationships get strained, right? So it's tough to really say because we weren't in the room. I've met Chance a couple times and just a quick dap up. He seems to be a really great guy. So I'm happy to see him have this positive momentum. But again, he's very much one of one because how he built it, super unique. How he leveraged the technology of the time, super unique, which means that the dip is super unique. And then to take 6 years away off a project that people didn't love is very different than taking 5 years after winning, or was it 5 years? 5 years after winning a Pulitzer Prize for Damn, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's not quite a fair comparison because Kenny was, uh, executive producer for the Black Panther soundtrack, so he was still very much around, but that's a little bit different of a landscape, and for him to come back swinging and Chance seems to be building momentum in the right way, it's pretty cool. That
I
was
mean,
a long-winded answer way of not answering the question, but,
you're good.
you know.
Well, I mean, yeah, I was genuinely thinking about it because I mean, he refers to the big day as an F minus in this song that I just picked, and I was thinking like, how many artists have we had that came out so hot, majorly flopped the way Chance did, and then bounced back? And I couldn't think of any off the top. And I know, like I said, you're a little bit better at pulling those things than I am, so I wanted to ask you. Um,
What I
and
will say about that, oh, go ahead.
no, no, you go ahead.
What I will say about that is the reason why we celebrate and covet the artists and the creative minds that we do is because not many of them flop that badly. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Not many of them slip like that. You might have a down album or your album might not be as good as the last one, or, oh man, I was hoping they'd take it in a different direction. Like, Jay didn't make Kingdom Come, which is not a great album. Jay didn't make Kingdom Come for a while. You know what I mean? Right. Outkast maybe has the best discography in hip hop history, with the one dip being the last one with Idlewild. You know what I'm saying? Kanye West's 808 and Heartbreak, upon reflection, right, is pivotal and genre bending and culture changing for a variety of reasons. E40 never really stumbled, you know what I mean? Eminem never really stumbled until quote unquote recovery, but come on, he's talking about climbing back, you know what I mean? But that was basically like 10, 15 years into his career at that point.
Yeah.
Like Chance at this point was basically 3 for 3 and like a global phenomenon, more or less all on his own, and then just put out something that made everybody go, like, what happened? You know what I mean?
Question. You referenced 808s and Heartbreaks. So do you remember that album as an album that wasn't positively receptive?
I remember because there were some hits on the album, Amazing, Love Lockdown, you know, it was on the radio and it was institutionally like significant. But
Yeah.
I remember people being confused about auto-tune, and he had just come off Graduation, which, you know, the kids, Gen Z in particular, like, oh, Kanye made Graduation. I think people our age don't think Graduation is his best album. We realize it's a classic.
Good album,
But
but it's not his best.
yeah, but to go late registration, or excuse me, college dropout to late registration to graduation into 808, that's like pretty different. Now he
For
had
sure.
tinkered and toyed with some 808 sounds on college dropout. All you have to do is listen to Workout Plan or New Workout Plan, and you hear it, like the contortion of the vocals that are very much like Zapp and Roger, et cetera, et cetera. But I remember people being like, "Is this because his mama passed? Like, what's going on here?" You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because it seemed like old Kanye was quote unquote gone at that point.
Sure. That's interesting though, because I remember that album so fun. That album was really popular at my high school. And so I have really, really fondly remember that album. And I remember the talks that I was having about that album at the time were all super positive. So when you threw that one out there, it threw me off a little bit because that one was really popular with my group of friends back in the day. And it's one, if, man, we're not going to rank Kanye's albums right now, but like my personal ranking of his albums, that one would be up there. That's one of my favorite Kanye albums. I love that album.
And I think it aged super well. And that was Kid Cudi's coming out party. Like he
Yep.
really had a heavy hand on helping to curate that album, which makes sense. You know, you Ohio guys obviously love the 808 sound and deviates into Cudi's rise to fame as well. So yeah, again, I wouldn't say it wasn't a blemish on his discography, but it was like he's taking a left turn and we don't really know why. And
Yeah.
it sounds way different than it did. And I think I think that it would be incorrect to say it was a bad album upon and not well received. I think it would also be incorrect to say that everybody loved it off rip, because I do think
Sure.
it took some time for some people to be like, oh, this is really good. You know?
Yeah.
And it also allowed us to be more receptive of Yeezus off rip, because if he went Graduation to Yeezus, I don't think Yeezus is the
No.
album that we love and covet, at least across broader music listening.
Are you a Yeezus guy?
There's some good songs on it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. For me, Kanye really captured that. Wait, I'm sorry, I'm remembering the order of his discography, because he went 808 into Dark Fantasy into Yeezus. Gotcha.
Correct. Yes.
But you know, I like his first album the best. I think that's his best album. I think Dark Fantasy is probably number 2, like a close number 2. David will say Dark Fantasies is number 1. Typical white guy, white Kanye fan response.
Love.
Kevin Love, God damn it. But yeah, like it's yeah, I'd say the first one is probably his best one. So anything that deviates too far from that one is probably a little bit lower on my list.
Yeah. I haven't thought about Yeezus in a long time. I remember being so confused by just the sonics of Yeezus when I first heard it. I think, I mean, that was his 5th album. So you have such a history of, even though 808s was a different sound than the first 2 albums, there was still a level of expectation of what you were going to hear when you popped a Kanye album into your CD player. And Yeezus comes with those hard, rock and roll type song or sonics. And it was just like, I remember almost being startled by it. Obviously, like, I grew into it. It's one of those albums that you have to listen to 2 or 3 times to just like get your ears ready for what you're about to experience. And so it's not an album that, like, it doesn't have replay value for me. I couldn't tell you the last time I listened to Yeezus.
No, for some people it does. Like,
Interesting. Yeah, I would never I would never just pop in Yeezus. I honestly couldn't tell you the last time I listened to that album.
Yeah, when you're trying to get into the zone for one of your basketball games, Black Skinhead is probably not playing, huh?
Just in general, like what? When I go for my walks, when I'm on an airplane, like when would I be like, today I'm going to listen to Yeezus? Like I just don't know when that would happen again for me in my life, where college dropout, late registration, graduation, beautiful dark twisted fantasy, all of the
I really like
life of
Kids See
Bobo.
Ghosts too. Yep.
Yeah, Kids See Ghosts had a couple tracks on it that I really liked. I don't think that one aged super well, but in the moment, like I really liked that album when it first came out, and then it fell off the cliff for me. That's another one I haven't listened to in years. But the first 5 albums minus Yeezus, I all have replay value to me. And then after that, like it kind of floats in and out of just like when what your mood is. That's interesting though, man. I'm probably gonna listen to Yeezus tonight now just to like remind myself of how I feel about it. But
all that to say, Chance, great recovery.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got way off track.
And if you see this, I know you've been doing some of the interview circuit with Deontay Kyle and Cole Cushing on Dissect and a few others. So if you feel like stumbling on our little humble channel, and I'm in Chicago, so it won't be that hard to get to you. You just
Chance, pull up, dog. Pull up. We're big fans. So, all right. Well,
we know what Dryptomania means as well. So it's like, we got you.
There you go. All right. Anything else before we get out of here?
No, this is a little bit longer. I'm curious to see how you edit it down, or if you edit it down, but this is a little bit longer episode, but very cathartic, man.
Yeah.
I had a rough day at work. As you know, work is kind of ass right now. It's always ass, but ass right now. Hello, everybody at work who may or may not have found this channel, but this was very therapeutic, and get a chance to talk about hopefully 2 artists that end up becoming emerging, especially Ginny or Jeannie. I think that's the producer on this cut. Send me beats. It's pretty cool just to always chop it up. And we talked about sports, which I usually neglect talking about because some of my, history and like physical injuries and shit, and me being jaded about shit. But it was good to reminisce.
That's right. All right. Well, this has been another episode of Song of the Week. We are your hosts, Jordan and Bill. Until next week, y'all. We'll see you. Peace.